Vamos a dar aquí comienzo a la segunda mesa de proyectos internacionales. Como sabéis, esta tercera edición del Foro Cultura y Ruralidades, respecto a las dos ediciones anteriores, presenta una importante novedad, que es el salto a Europa en búsqueda de estas mejores prácticas en países más allá de las fronteras de España, que están explorando esta noción de ruralidad. En los próximos minutos vamos a viajar hasta Irlanda, a Laponia y a Portugal, y lo haremos gracias a la presencia aquí de Marilyn Gaughan, que es la jefa de programación de Galway 2020, a Tanja Häyrynen, que es la subdirectora del clúster de comunidades rurales inteligentes de Arctic Smartness, y a Jorge Silva, director ejecutivo del Festival Bonsons de Portugal. So beforehand, let me thank you for being here with us. It's a tremendous honor. It's the first time that this forum, the Cultural and Realities Forum, is crossing the Spanish boundaries looking for best practices in Europe. So we're very lucky to have you here. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm going to start just with a very short presentation in Spanish. Si sabéis que esta presentación va a ser en inglés, si alguien necesita traducción simultánea, tenemos una intérprete en la sala. Podéis recoger vuestros receptores en el hall si no lo habéis hecho ya. Vamos a hablar, como decíamos, de proyectos internacionales, pero a la vez vamos a hablar de cambio de paradigma, de cambio de roles, de cambio de miradas. Y precisamente el primer proyecto del que vamos a abordar trata de esa variación de óptica de la que llevamos hablando desde el día de ayer. Trata de nuevas escalas, de nuevas miradas, de nuevas sensibilidades aplicadas a la gestión y a la producción y programación cultural. Como sabéis, el año que viene, en 2020, la capitalidad cultural europea recaerá en la ciudad irlandesa de Galway, y muy importante no solo en la ciudad, sino también en el condado y en sus islas. De hecho, la capitalidad europea de Galway 2020 se ha comprometido a llevar a cabo el 50% de su programación en las áreas rurales del condado. Es una perspectiva impulsada por gestores como Marilyn Gaughan, que lleva 24 años siendo técnica de artes del condado y que ha implementado proyectos culturales en el territorio durante todo este tiempo. Tiene una experiencia larguísima y nos acompaña hoy para contarnos precisamente esa experiencia pegada al terreno y acercarnos a los planes de Galway para integrar esa mirada rural en su programación de forma central. Comenzamos con ella y luego sigo presentando al resto de compañeros. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you. So I'm Irish and we love to talk. So I've never done a presentation in 15 minutes. I'm going to do my very, very best. I'm here to talk about Galway 2020. We are the European Capital of Culture. We have, am I getting this right? Oh, I've gone too fast. See, already. I'm going to go back. So this is a really unusual, it's a very long road for us. We started in 2014 when our government accepted the opportunity for Ireland to host the European Capital of Culture. We transitioned with 2 bid books. It was a very competitive process. 4 cities in Ireland bid it, and Galway is the smallest. We are now in the pre-production stage, and we will launch our programme in September 2019. We will deliver in 2020 and then move into legacy in 2021. Why did we bid? This was a joint bid between the city and the county. This was very unusual because it's a joint municipality bid. So both local authorities came together and said, we want to do this for the city, for the county, for our islands, for our rural communities, and we want to do this together. So this was the first major collaboration. Of course, the 2 local authorities worked together on many initiatives, but this was a very substantial one. As Irish people love to talk, this was a process based on very real engagement. I did 556 meetings with cultural partners and producers, 145 stakeholder meetings. Our team, and at the time we were a very small team, we went to every village, every island and every rural community in the county, and we spoke to people and we asked them what a European Capital of Culture would mean, not to them, but in their place. Because this is about people, participation and place. It's not about delivering a big project in the city and bringing everybody in from the rural areas. This is about the rural areas, and this is about our communities. So it was a process based on very real, very tangible engagement. When I saw one of the slides earlier of people in your kitchen, we sat at kitchen tables and asked people what culture meant to them and how they would like to be involved. And it really worked, because this is the day we won. When thousands of people flooded into Galway to be there for this announcement. We didn't know that we won, and every time I see it, I still get goosebumps. And the man standing in the middle is the mayor. He's now the mayor of the city. And the joy and the ownership of what we were trying to do was felt by every man, woman and child in Galway. Just to give you a highlight as to where we are, Galway is right on the west coast. It's a small city and it's a very large county. The population is just 250,000 combined. And you'll see the small map, see the dark blue areas on the small map. These are the Gaeltachtaí. This is areas where we speak only Irish. And they're very rural areas. I live in a Gaeltacht. I live in a village of 200 people, less. I have 3 children, 3 girls, and we're raising our children through Irish in a rural area, working in a European context. There are huge opportunities for the entire region, and we can talk about increased visitor numbers and we can talk about the economic benefits, but actually the main benefit was participation. The main benefit is inclusion. And what's interesting about Galway 2020 is that 50% of the entire programme will be delivered in rural areas. How we work together, we have a pretty small team. We have the local authorities, our European communities, because we have 104 European projects, European connections within our overall programme, within the projects. Small Towns, Big Ideas is our community engagement programme, where the villages and communities of Galway County are involved in the main programme, and I'll come to that in a minute. And obviously we have our board and our partnership team and the management team and so on. Galway is going to be the European Capital of Culture in 2020, along with Rijeka in Croatia. So we have a number of partnerships with Rijeka. The team are coming in 3 weeks' time, and they're bringing 7 community representatives with them, because we're going to start linking our communities, our rural communities. And we have a project called the EU Neighbourhoods Programme, where 4 European capitals of culture are exchanging communities. So our community groups are visiting community groups in Leeuwarden and Aarhus, Rijeka and Galway and Matera, and learning from each other on a very real, citizen-engaged way. The concept for our programme is making waves, because we wanted to be disruptive, we're full of energy, we wanted to have connection, we wanted power, we're surrounded by water, so this concept made sense. But the themes of our programme are language, landscape and migration, because these are the things that, based on our consultation, meant the most to our people. They wanted to celebrate their landscape. We don't have a big opera house, so we're going to build an opera in an old monastic ruin. We have really bad weather, so we have a whole programme called Hope It Rains, because it's going to rain in 2020, the wind is going to blow, there's going to be storms, it's always going to rain. So we have an entire programme dedicated to projects that can only happen in the rain. Oh yes. Who's coming to Galway in 2020? Woohoo, I love it. We don't have a big theatre, we don't have a big municipal gallery, so our projects are going to be built in our landscape. And migration is something that affects us all. And I find that in every European meeting we do, the things that make us local are also the things that connect us as European. Rural isolation, depopulation, our language, our very precious language. Maintaining our Irish language is very important to us, because in Europe it's regarded as a minority language, but to us it's our national language. This is a programme built on very high artistic ambition. It's built on inclusion, and it's about increasing capacity to deliver, because Not everybody is a European cultural expert, but the people in our towns and villages are designing and building their own projects and their own programs. And we are trying to build capacity long past 2020 and well into 2021 and beyond. Let's talk about projects, because that's why we're all here. This is one of the beautiful beaches in Galway. Galway is so stunning. It's an easy place to work because the landscape is so incredible. It's so wild, it's so rugged, it's so inviting, it's rural, it's magical, it has an energy. So before you even go to the landscape to think about a project, we always take 5 minutes to go, whoa, this is amazing. Project Baba is a project that celebrates sheep. In 2020, we are going to have this program dedicated to sheep. We are going to have Baba banquets in our towns and villages, celebrating the food that comes from sheep. We are going to have Baba fashion shows, using and working with young, fashion, innovative designers using the textile from sheep. We're going to have a weekend on sheep and religion, because sheep appear in religion in many ways, in many different forms, and we found a number of European experts who want to come and talk about this. And we're going to have Spinning Yarns, which is a whole series of poetry readings and literature engagements around sheep. And we found many shepherds and shepherdesses who are poets and artists who want to come and talk about sheep. And we're going to host the Europe's largest Shepherds Sheep Congress, where all the shepherds will come and talk about sheep. This is a project called Aerial Sparks, and it's an incredible project because the first radio waves were transmitted from Clifton in Galway, Marconi. And a wonderful, beautiful, incredible artist called Louise Manifold wanted to celebrate this in a radio broadcast project created on the island of Inisheer. This island has 140 people living on it. And in the year 2000, I co-founded an art centre there. And my director at the time said, why are we putting an art centre on an island with 140 people? And my response was simple, because those 140 people want to see art. And it's culture, and they have a human right to access culture, and just because they choose to live on our most westernly island doesn't mean that they can't have it. So in 2020, we're placing a number of projects here with the local community. At this stage, I think I know every islander's name by heart, and it's amazing because they own the projects that we work on. They own the projects that we bring, and they're very engaged in the design and consultation around everything that we do. So Louise and some of the artists involved in this project are going to collect the sounds of the sea from the Marine Institute ship on transatlantic crossings. And they're going to bring the sounds back to the island, where we will host a series of broadcasts and exhibitions with the local community, who will also collect the sounds of the sea. So it's called Aerial Sparks. It's quite an unusual project, but I think it's important that in the context of a European Capital of Culture today, to come and talk to you not just about the classical music programme and the theatre programme and the visual art programme, but also the projects that maybe we don't think about, the projects that mean something to other people. This is Mirrored Pavilions. This is our wild and rugged landscape in Connemara, and this is the Galway International Arts Festival. And they are going to place Pavilion, which is a technology-driven installation in the landscape. And you can walk through this and be surrounded by sounds and installation through technology. This is artificial intelligence at its best in our most rugged landscape. No people live here, so it's going to be really interesting, because in 2020, we didn't want to place big projects in the city and invite the rural areas in. We're placing our largest projects in the county and inviting people from the city to come out, because it's not about placement. It's about audience development, and it's about the audience understanding the landscape that we all work. So Mirrored Pavilions with the internationally renowned artist John Gerard is one of our largest installations, and this will stay in situ for about 6 months. Symphonic Waves is an orchestra we co-founded in 2016. The reason is parents whose children are exceptional young musicians have to travel 3.5 hours to Dublin if they want to be in an orchestra. So somebody said yes, and we decided to create an orchestra in the West. And we are working with Professor James Kavanagh, we are working with local musicians and international musicians, and we now have 92 students, 92 incredible young musicians who have an opportunity to be part of an international orchestra in their rural area. They rehearse in a town with a population of 400. We've built a rehearsal space in the school, in the local school, so the kids and their families travel from everywhere to participate, to rehearse, and in 2020 they will be part of major significant events in the year, giving them an opportunity to show the world how incredibly rich and talented they are. Oh, I'm going to go back. This is a really important project. I'm going to say why. A big issue for us in Ireland is suicide. A big issue in our rural areas is suicide. And Galway Community Circus, a wonderful community circus run by Ulla Hukkinen, a wonderful Finnish woman in Galway, came to us and said, I want to do something. I want to do something about this. So this is the fastest flowing river in Europe, and it runs right through the city. But in 2020, 400 people will cross this river on tight ropes, the art of funambulism. And we will talk about mental health as a balancing act for Europe. We have 11 European partners, and this will take place in 11 locations across Europe. And it's a really important project because a European capital of culture gives us an opportunity to have a conversation in a way through culture that maybe ordinarily we can't. I presented this project in Oslo in March, and it was the first time I cried on stage in public because that week 3 beautiful young men had committed suicide in this river. And in 2020, if we can have a conversation about suicide prevention and suicide awareness using funambulism, then I think that's pretty special. I want to talk about small towns, big ideas. I know I've got less than 2.5 minutes, but this is really crucial. We decided that our communities, we invited our communities, we asked our communities what they wanted to do for 2020. So we currently have 51 projects up and running. Next week we have 25 more. Then our 27 cultural partners are all placing projects in local areas. So when I show you this map in September, it will have over 300 dots, because this is a program for our people in their place with their participation. Everybody has a voice, everybody is involved. I'm going to talk about the boring stuff for 1 minute, because in order to move forward we need to monitor and evaluate. So we've built a cultural ecosystem that isn't about numbers, that isn't just about the economic impact and the tourism numbers and so on, but that's built on people and people's participation in culture in 2020. We've decided to work on a 5-year audience development plan, which is linked to our monitoring and evaluation framework, because in doing all of this work we have to plan for future audiences and new way of engaging audiences. See, I'm being quick. Legacy. Our legacy is about our people, our place, our program, our political partnerships, because working together as many local authorities, it's quite a unique structure. And that level of partnership, working with our communities, our artists, our people and our place. I want to show you, because we've already started. 2 weeks ago we hosted Fresh Street 3, and we invited 250 delegates from all over Europe to come and talk about street art in Galway. This is our art centre on Inisheer. The theatre holds 70 people, but it wasn't big enough, so we held the conference outside. Because we don't need places, we don't need big venues, we just need our landscape. And 250 Europeans had a great time on our little island. And they went back and spoke about this incredible outdoor conference, because how can you have an outdoor conference how can you have a conference on street art and have it inside? We felt it was really important to go to our landscape. Guramagat, that's the Irish for thank you, and I might show a short film.
Sure.
I've got less than 1 minute. No, 30 seconds, but you know, that's okay.
Go ahead. Ponemos el vídeo, por favor.
The place is Galway, the year is 2020, and you are all invited.
Thank you, Marilyn. That was a brilliant presentation, time and content-wise. We approached many key aspects of this forum, like access, participation, legacy, but also like the rural-urban dialogue and contact, and also care, mental health, many other stuff. And maybe we can keep the conversation later. I'm going to introduce now Tanja for our audience in Spanish, and then we keep going. En segundo lugar, vamos a viajar hasta la región más septentrional de la Unión Europea para conocer una iniciativa de especialización inteligente y de desarrollo sostenible. Laponia fue una de las primeras regiones europeas en adoptar el enfoque sistemático de la Smart Specialization y ha sido reconocida por la Unión Europea por sus buenas prácticas en la aplicación de innovación social en territorios de baja densidad de población. Esta especialización inteligente se ha articulado en la puesta en marcha de una marca que se llama Arctic Smartness, que engloba 5 clústeres concentrados en promover el desarrollo regional. Tenemos aquí para presentar esta iniciativa a Tanja Häyrynen, que es agrónoma de profesión y es la responsable de comunicación y subdirectora del clúster de comunidades rurales inteligentes Arctic Smartness. Tanja nos contaba estos días que su jornada laboral, su día a día, consiste en acercarse a las personas que habitan en las comunidades rurales, recabar los problemas a los que se enfrentan en su labor diaria y en su emprendimiento y tratar de solventarlos posteriormente a través de la red de expertos que forman parte del clúster. Trabaja con emprendedores, con expertos en desarrollo, con educadores, con mucha gente, con el objetivo de implementar y replicar modelos de los éxitos generados en el clúster. Justamente esto es una de las partes que más nos interesa, que es cómo se pueden replicar las experiencias en otras regiones. So, Tanja, it's your turn.
Thank you. Okay, so if nobody else has been in Lapland or has been in Lapland, I will tell you a few facts. Lapland is where Santa Claus lives, and I live 3.5 kilometers from Santa Claus place, and you are really welcome to come and visit. It will be really pleasant. But something other than that, we have like 180,000 people living in Lapland and almost the same amount of reindeers. So probably you will see reindeers if you come. And we are like 30% of Finland, but we have like 3% of the inhabitants from the whole Finnish side. And let's begin. So what is this smart specialization in Lapland? The story began on 2012. We made this kind of Arctic specialization program, and we had the vision by 2022 that we will be the most innovative, sparsely populated region. And what we have lots of natural resources, and we have fragile Arctic nature. But why did we choose this smart specialization? Is because we wanted to be in charge of its own development, so we needed to have some kind of strategic step-by-step implementation, that how we will go forward and what we want to do in Lapland. We didn't want that anyone else will say what we need to do there. So what did we do? In 2014, we had this project called Arctic Smartness, and we wanted to create potential innovation and entrepreneurship, and we wanted to have smart growth and use all the needs what we have and make the region's future driven by innovative SMEs seeking for the growth, and we wanted to help them to do that. So what is Lapland's economic backbone? What do we do? We have lots of mining and metal industries, but also we have lots of bioeconomy. And that is my expertise in Lapland, this bioeconomy, what you will hear a little bit later on. But of course, because we have the Santa Claus, we have lots of tourism, not just because of the Santa Claus. The summer is a really good time to come and visit too, because the sun will not go down at all, and it's really wonderful time. You will not feel tired almost at all. And then, when we started the Arctic Smartness clusters, you can see the cluster's name in the picture. We analyzed like 650 different kind of projects what we had in the previous funding period, and we were trying to see like what have we done and what needed to be done and what are the things how we go forward. And first we find the best ground for cross-fertilization and that we utilize the existing potential, and after that, we support the existence of modern clusters, which are regional, but we are looking all the time beyond the boundaries. And after that, we go for a deeper collaboration between research and development and business. So that is how we started this process. This is the pictures of the clusters, and this is actually a game. What we have made lots of materials about what we have been doing, and this magazine is one of them. You can find it from the information. There is few of the magazines, so you can play the game and know how to go forward in your own areas. And why we have the clusters is we want to add value for the business. So it's all about the business growth. It's all about the jobs, what we can have, this specialization, because we are so few people in Lapland. We need to think what we can do and be really smart in the way. And we need to have lots of new innovations, because if we don't have, in the end, there will not be people who want to do anything. And of course, we need to have money, so the cash flow is really important thing. So what kind of results we have had for now? There has been really good benefits for SMEs in the region, and also there has been really good summary what kind of future we want to have for Lapland with the regional development. And we are really attractive partner, because we have our home base is safe, and we have good people there who are really ready to work together. And we have this kind of brand of innovative region increased. and we have improved an EU-level cluster cooperation. So we work with lots of different kind of clusters in EU level. But this bottom-up approach needs good leadership, and that's why we have these clusters. So this is for the vision for 2030. So when we go a little bit forward, we want to have sustainability in everything what we do in Lapland. So that is the core where we based on it. And what kind of industries we have for the future is this Arctic circular economy and then sustainable tourism. We don't want there would be like huge groups, but we want that it will be really sustainable tourism, that people can enjoy the nature and everything what we have to offer. And also we want to have growth in business, like increasing, refining the nature resources, that we will not just sell berries as a berries, but we make it to be something more valuable. So the next steps is we have updated this smart specialization strategy, and also we have strategic partnership in EU, and we have been strengthening this Arctic collaboration, and we have been investigating this Arctic investment platform that the entrepreneurs can have more investments in the region. And also we have many interregional S3 collaboration with different funds and different parties. And this is just an example of how we go like forward. And you will have this presentation with you, so you can investigate that later on. But I wanted to give you an example from one of the clusters, what we really do. And I am charged in this Arctic Rural Smart Community Cluster. And our vision is to have unbeatable pure products from Lapland by promoting it in sustainable business. And this is how the cluster works. In the leaves, we have the business, so all the entrepreneurs. We have two spearheads, what we go forward with the food and with energy. And in the middle, we have this kind of knowledge center where comes all the education and all the students what we have and all the youth and all the research and everywhere where we can have the knowledge. And in the roots, there is this regional development and also internationalization. And with this water comes with the funding that we need the money, how we can grow the tree to be more larger and it can have lots of fruits. And how we know what we do, we have different kind of programs. Beside this Arctic Smartness program, we have Lapland's Arctic Bioeconomy Development Program until 2025. And we are also like building for the next funding season another rural program where the people have said what they really need to have and where they need to have the money, that we can still have vital Lapland. And we have made investigation in the whole cluster that what happens in the villages. We have 300 villages in Lapland and 21 municipalities. And with 185 villages, we have seen that we have potential to grow. Where the money goes is with the energy and with the food, and that's why we have those in our spearheads. And many times it says that we are in the middle of nowhere, but we say that we are middle of everything and all the possibilities, because we have the nature and we have the pure. So what kind of things we decided to do is, in the first one, it's all about the energy. So we want to have more self-sufficient villages, that they would produce the everything, how they can have for energy and heating and for the fuels what the cars uses, that we will see what kind of materials we have in the villages, and we will use it there. And the villages, they own it, and they make it by themselves, and in the way they have the empowering for the rural countryside. And there's also the numbers, what they will gain from this. And this is not like a new thing. That is what we had like 50 or 60 years ago. We were really self-sufficient, and I think that many countryside have been. But in nowadays, it isn't the case anymore. And also in the food, like we were making the food by ourselves, but nowadays we are buying almost the whole food away from the Lapland. So that's why we saw that where we can like produce it and where we'll sell it, and mostly we decided to do it with the central kitchen, with the direct sale and with the tourism, because those are the places where the entrepreneurs can have more money. If we start to compete with the markets, it doesn't work like that. And also there is a link for the video, but I will not show that to you. So what is the case in food? We use 444 million euros every year for the food, but we only have it 10% by ourselves. So we put 400 million euros away from Lapland. And that's why we decided that we will increase the number until 30% in the beginning, and we will go forward from that. And why we talk about the energy is this example, like what we need to do in the municipalities, how the municipalities can help the entrepreneurs. Is this example. They, in one municipality, not in Lapland, but quite near, they requested energy wood. And they had offers from many places, and there was a local vendor who wanted to give the wood, but he lost. And the Russian vendor, they said that they will give it 9,000 euro less than the Finnish one. And the Finnish local one, they said, like, why that I have been giving the wood for a long time, that don't they understand that how much money they will lose in this way? And they investigated, and they saw that they lost 6 to 8 jobs in that municipality, or more than 200,000 of harvest support, and more than 300,000 of taxes. So this 9,000 euro saving lost almost 650,000 euro per year in this one municipality. So in this way, we try to make the politician makers to understand that small things make really huge things. And it's also in the food, where you buy the food, what kind of food you are buying, it really helps or not the community. And we have many tools what we use to help the entrepreneurs, and we have for the energy, this kind of energy office. It's not like a physical office, but it's a place in the internet, and also a network where people can contact, and we help them to have all the expertise what they need, if it's in the municipality or if it's in the entrepreneur's own case or whatever it is, we can help them. And we have written these kind of things in this magazine, so if you want to hear more, you can read that and take it with you. And if you have any questions, you can ask me later. But one of the questions was what was said before, that how you can do this is you can contact me. You can come to Lapland, and we can teach you step by step how you can go forward and make your region to be the best region ever. Thank you.
Well done.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Tanja. We will for sure contact you, and maybe later we can talk about this model replication. Your presentation also links with a panel that we have this afternoon about European programs. You mentioned Interreg and Horizon 2020, and we're going to learn more later, so we invite you to join us for this panel. And we're gonna go for the third project. Vamos a viajar mucho más cerquita de nuestras fronteras hasta Cem Soldos. Es una aldea de unos 600 habitantes, nos decía ayer Jorge, donde desde 2008 se lleva a cabo el festival Bon Sons. Tenemos con nosotros a su director ejecutivo, Jorge Silva, que es también el presidente de la asociación local Sport Club Operario de Cem Soldos, que impulsa el festival. El festival se define como una experiencia cultural más allá de la música portuguesa en su programa, y su visión y su objetivo principal pasan por el desarrollo local a través de la fijación de la población juvenil y el impulso de la economía local. Vamos a hablar de todo esto en los próximos minutos y también recuperamos un poco el aspecto festivo que se comentaba esta mañana, la importancia de que la cultura vehicule también la alegría y la festividad. Jorge, cuando quieras.
Primero, quiero agradecer el convite y decir que yo no hablo muy bien castellano, español, y por eso mi presentación será hecha en inglés, o que para mí es muy extraño porque no somos vecinos y estaré haciendo una comunicación en inglés más. Me disculpe anticipadamente. E no mote well, I'll start, I'm confused, but I'm confused. Well, I'll start in English. Our motto in the festival is "Come live the village." Bien vivir lo pueblo. And it's for us. It's been the first ever since the way we present the festival. It's come to live the village, not that foreign or outside way of looking to the village, but to live it as a way, the way we live it. And how many of you have been to Cem Soldos or to Festival Bon Sons? No one? So we'll have an introduction to that.
Mal amado.
This was a clip from last year, and this is, I started to show this video to you because Bon Sons is a festival of contrasts, as you all saw in this video, because that's what we want to promote to the visitors, for them to come to the village, which is, as Xavier told, it's a small village, like 1 hour and a half from Lisbon. It's in the center of Portugal. It's a rural area, and we only have like 600 inhabitants during the week, mainly in the weekends, approximately like 800 people. And the Bon Sons has been, this is the map where the festival happens. It's inside the village, so the village is the venue, and we use the resources of the of the village to make the festival happen. And since the beginning, the Bon Sons started in 2006. It has been a platform, a cultural platform for us to present the Portuguese music, because at the time it didn't have, in Portugal, didn't have any festival dedicated to Portuguese music. So, which is really, really strange. But at the time we decided, well, why don't we, sorry? No, okay. Why don't we do this festival here in our village and get to know and present the emergent acts that are already appearing in Portugal in several genres. So if you go to Bonchons, you can hear like folk music, ethnographic music, but also you can hear like, for instance, a narco-punk rock band, or jazz or fado. So each year it's a showcase of what happens in the music, but in Portugal. But Bonchons is not just a music festival. It's also a cultural program that includes performative arts, short film festival, program for children, like music programs, and storytelling for children, where we update the old stories that we have, and then telling them to the children that can relate to children, of course, but also to the grown-ups. And Bonchons is about discovering, for us, since the beginning, is about discovering culture that lives here and now, and being updated. And as I said, it happens in the village, which is Cem Soldos. Normally we have like 52 concerts, 202 artists, and 57 extra activities, which involves normally 300 local volunteers, which are the villagers itself. It's just for you to know what are the evolution of the festival. In 2006, we had 3 days of festival, 3 stages, 12 artists, and 50,000 visitors along the 3 days. And last year, 2018, we had 4 days, 9 stages, 45 artists, and plus more than 38,000 visitors, just with this small or simple festival. Well, this is the introduction, the general introduction to the festival, but what are the Bonchons singularities? Well, in terms of social governance, Bonchons is produced and is promoted by the village itself. It's a social, it's local cultural association that is the organizer that mobilizes the community and has a culture as a mean to intervene in the territory. So for us, we use the culture is the main focus for us to work with the community. And it is also a community involvement festival where everybody in the village participates in the festival. So they are also the faces of the festival. If you go this year to Bonchons, you'll see the mother, the father, the uncle, the aunt, the grandparent, the grandfather, the grandmother. So everybody is there, working there. Of course, the elder, like people which have like 80 years old, they don't work in the festival. They have been working in the festival, doing other stuff along the year, but during the festival, they are enjoying the festival. But mainly the broader part of the community, they participate in the community. And also, the Bonchons is a local-based resources festival, where, because as, for instance, what Marilyn is doing in Galway, we have to work with what we have, because this is a festival that is produced by this village. So we work with what we have. It's people, it's land, it's skills. People, they let us use their land, they let us use their garages in their houses. So everything is for a common good that everybody shared, and they know that the revenues that comes from the festival goes also to the community. And also we work with partners. We have a network of partners, local, regional, and national. And another contribution of the festival for us is really, really important, because the festival, it's like a crowdfunding process where we give culture through culture. We as a village invite people to come, and after that we, with revenues coming from the village, from the festival, we apply to these, I would just, other projects, but mainly these 2 projects. One is called La Aldeia, and here it's called Asilo. for the elderly, and this is a project that has this concept of aging in place, where we give the opportunity to the elderly to live as long as possible in the village where they always lived. Because normally what we tend to do is to, when people are getting old, they go outside and they go to the asylum, which is really, it's not a good thing, and it's a violence to the elderly. So we want to let them live as long as possible in the village, and of course there is medical assistance and other, of course, needs attended, but this comes from the support of the festival and revenues of the festival. But if we are working the memory of the village, like working with the elderly, we have to work also with the children. And we have this project which is called Escola Aldeia, and what we do is we as a community decided to think about what should be the pedagogical point of view that we want to bring to our schools, that gives capacities to our children, like 21st capacities to them, and for them not to being apart, like living in the village could be a good thing for them also, but they don't need to go outside. So we work with the children with a pedagogical approach, with the parents, and also making the village also the space for them to learn. For instance, we can be in the room, but some of the things we can learn outside, like picking fruits on berries, on other things. So we can learn outside the school itself. So the village becomes the school also. So that's one of the other projects that are sponsored by the festival itself. In terms of youth participation, what happens is that the SCOX members, that is the association of the village, 75% of the directors board, so have less than 30 years. We make them be part of the process by empowering them and giving them the opportunity to work and to fail, because for us it's really important for them to let them know that they can fail, they can try. And 75% of them have less than 30 years. And we have also a local volunteer program, which is called SITE. SITE, it's going out, like going out. I don't know what could you say in Spanish, but it's SITE. And like go out from your house, do things, because we are here with you, and we are here like as a safety net for you to do things. And this local volunteer program, we have like 50 participants, like from the villagers, and we have another external volunteer program. Each year we have more than 600 applications for all over Portugal, and of course others from other parts of the world. And normally we select 100 participants to work with us in the festival. And what we want to do through this youth participation, it's promoting skills development, vocational experience, youth empowerment, project reinvention, and mainly for us, the social cohesion, because it's through this volunteer program, we have the opportunity, we give the opportunity to the younger to work with the elder, so this gives more social cohesion to the festival itself. In terms of local development, just simple notes. We have another project which is called Pueblo Cultura, which is Aldeia Cultura, and it has these six pillars. That's the way we address the issues in the territory and in the village. And the pillars are education, culture, aging, sports, tourism, and urban planning, because we want to also to think about the elderly, and we have to think about the urban spaces to the elderly. So this is one of the key points also for the association, and that we, through this program, we intervene we intervene in through culture. Just a note of the Bonchons, the social and economic impacts. Last year, Bonchons have promoted as the economic benefits, direct economic benefits, not indirect, but direct economic benefits, like 1 million and mostly roughly 1.5 million euros just last year. This small festival made by this small pueblo in the center of Portugal with dedicated to culture, that's the main thing, dedicated to culture, can promote and can bring economic benefits to the surroundings and to not to the village itself, but also to the municipalities.
1 more minute.
1 minute, yes. Overall, what is Bonchons? We are going to the 10th edition, and for us, Bonchons is more than just a festival. It's a manifest. So this is the key points for us that envisions and encapsulates what we want to do. So we want to do, we want to promote that, well, I'll go to the key ideas, but this is our manifest where culture is a cultural platform, Bonchons is a cultural platform, as a land management process. We want to promote participative citizenship. We want to promote active aging, learning community, a place-based projects, sustainable intervention, public space occupation, and above all, popular culture. Because namely, we normally tend to look at the elite culture and neglect a little bit the popular culture, which is so important and is fundamental to our identity. So for us, this is a manifest that encapsulates what we do in Bonchons. Ending. Key ideas that we want to share, because we are here to share experiences, and our experiences with Bonchons is this. We want to, through Bonchons, we want to think about that living in a rural area, we can also be contemporary. So we can be contemporáneo, puede acontecer en un pueblo. We are very proud of it. Podemos vivir en un pueblo, mas o contemporáneo puede acontecer lá. Culture as a structural element to dialogue, intervene, and influence rural settings, for us is really, really important. It's central. Of course, we have to address other things, economical issues and other structural issues, but development issues, but culture is the key point for our work. And also, we want to work in a new discourse about the rural. It's also really important. And we have been addressing here with different panels yesterday this issue. We tend to look at the rural as some like un poco tolos infantilizando un poco los pueblos, mas I'm sorry, but what we want is to also shape local representations and labeling and providing meaning to traditional features of rural life. For us is really, really important for us also. Because most of us in rural areas, we are doing things that we don't value them, but they are really, really precious. And we have to labeling, we have to give meaning to that. And also, Bonchons also is a new ritual and new tradition. I think festivals as Bonchons that can be replicated, not Bonchons, but in other areas, can also be new ritual and new tradition. And in Bonchons is a social organizer that structures a broad communitarian project. And for us, what we are seeing is that more and more people from the village, they tend to be more cohesion and more proximal to one another through Bonchons than, for instance, the festivities of the village, where they are going away. So through this new festival, people are more working in community. And last but not the least, and I'm really ending, we want to work place attachment and sense of belonging. Because ever since the beginning, for them and for us in Cem Soldos, being part of a pueblo is something to be proud of. Living in a village is something good and is something to be proud of. And for us, it promotes this place attachment and sense of the belonging. And I'm just ending with this small video, which is a small invitation. Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you, Jorge. That was perfect. I think we all want to join you this summer. Cem Soldos.
Can
you host like 150 people more?
Definitely, definitivamente.
Perfect. That was really also very timely, your presentation, because you've mentioned many key aspects that have been developed here in the forum, but many ideas that have been also promoted by Cultura y Ciudadanía, the program of the Spanish Ministry of Culture, like this social governance, youth participation, and many other stuff. So now maybe we have 10 minutes for audience questions, and I would rather give the floor to the audience. Just wanted to mention that in this hand program we have a bibliography, and there's an article by Marilyn in this book called Beetle Village, where we have like a follow-up about your experience being an arts officer in the county, in the territory. And it's very interesting because you approach in a way how local authorities can become game changers and can be policy makers in a way. Maybe that's something that I would like you to develop in a way.
I was very lucky because I had the pleasure of being an arts officer in a county as beautiful as Galway. So in 2015 I seconded to Galway 2020 to write the first cultural programme for the bid. And those years of working in rural areas and developing projects in rural areas and knowing the local communities and knowing what they wanted was actually I was very fortunate because we could bring all of that knowledge and skill to a European capital of culture and embed a pan-European programme in local areas. So from a policy perspective, I've been trying to develop and write policy as we've been going along. And in October in Brussels, as part of the European Week of Regions, 4 European capitals of culture will come together again to review, as we do each year, our policy in respect of rural planning and planning for culture in rural areas. In 2021, when I have time, I will do more publications in this area because I will go back to my former position and try and take some of the learning from a European context. And all these meetings, every conference you meet incredible people. Like the last 2 days, getting to know Tanja and George and the team here has been very exciting because there's lots of new ideas that I know I can take back to Galway, even in time for 2020, and then develop further relationships. And these meetings are very, very important because we're all here for the same reason, because we believe deeply and passionately in the power of rural areas and their place in society and their celebration of culture. And if we can keep and maintain some of these connections into the future, we can build strong projects. You know what was lovely yesterday? 4 people met to talk about a Creative Europe application. And that's the magic of being here, because you can work with somebody when you sit and have a cup of coffee, because if you're doing Creative Europe, you're in bed for 3 years. So you need to be able to work with people. So from a policy perspective, I know that there's a lot that certainly I can take back and maintain and develop with these new partnerships. And I'm definitely going to Lapland.
and Cem Soldos.
And
Cem Soldos.
Yes.
Please.
And Galway, coming back to Galway.
Of course.
¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta antes de que tenemos? Por allí parece que tenemos.
Bueno, primero soy Lucía de Pueblos en Arte y vivo en un pueblo muy pequeñito, 160 habitantes. Y tengo una pregunta para él, pero bueno, antes quería hacer una reflexión, y es que, bueno, como todos somos amantes de lo rural, creo que sería bonito que el próximo encuentro fuese en el campo o en el pueblo, y que pudiésemos comer comida que se fabrica y se hace en el lugar en el que estamos reunidos. creo que sería más coherente y que existen medios y ganas, porque si esta reunión hubiese sido en el campo, pues quizás las sensaciones hubieran sido otras, o en un pueblo. Y bueno, luego la pregunta es muy concreta. Nosotros hacemos un festival que se llama Saltamontes. Hemos hecho una edición, ha sido un encuentro maravilloso, la gente estaba encantada y ahora vamos a por la segunda. Y me interesa muchísimo cómo es esa manera concreta en la que puedes revertir esos beneficios en la propia comunidad, porque bueno, también nuestros objetivos son muy parecidos y por eso quisiera saber de qué manera pueden volver esos beneficios a la comunidad de una manera concreta, así como habéis hecho, ¿no?, con esos proyectos con los ancianos y los niños. ¿Cómo es ese retorno?
Well, now that's the difficult part. Shall I talk in Portuguese, Spanish or in English? Puedo intentar hablar en español. Me perdona si no correr bien. Okay. Bom Chance es también un festival de capacitación de las personas no pueblo, porque la oportunidad que ellas tienen de participar siendo coordinadoras de áreas de vídeo, de media, de camarines, normalmente ellos no tenían otras posibilidades de hacerlo. Y nowadays,
you can go in English. We have translation.
Yes. Okay, it's perfect. Nowadays, what we have is like several people. What we have is several people that are already benefiting from the experience from the festival, and they are using that experience in their professional jobs. So that's one way that the festival helps and promotes in the villagers, of course. And the others, in terms of revenues, we are constantly thinking in new ways to address the difficulties that we live in a rural area, of course. And each year we put an effort and try to do a new thing and to bring the people to empower them, because this is also un proyecto de capacitación. Es muy importante para nosotros que las personas puedan aprender mismo viviendo en un pueblo. No es problemático vivir en un pueblo. Puede ser muy vantajoso comparativamente con vivirse en una ciudad. Y es esto que nos procuramos hacer a través del Festival Bom Chance. No sé si he respondido o si gustaría de...
Si hay alguna otra pregunta, si no, como vamos un poco retrasados. ¿Alguien más quiere participar? Bueno, quizás lo dejamos aquí. Tenemos la suerte de tener todavía un rato más con nosotros a Jorge, a Tanja y a Marilyn. Así que si queréis.
I just want to say that for us, the festival, we want to work. We don't want massive tourists. We want to respect the land and the people. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, we had last year 38,000 people, and we saw that it's huge. It's starting to get really huge. So this year we decided to have less people there, because it's about the experience, it's about the culture, and about the fruition of the culture. It's not about the masses. I'm not against the masses, but this is not the main issue in Festival Bom Chance. So you're all invited to come and live the pueblo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.